Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Well, first of all, thank you, Brother Mohsen, last name? Brother Mohsen Naqvi, mashallah. I think this is commendable, this effort, this research, all the knowledge you put into this, mashallah. I think this is exactly what our young people should be doing. I'm sure living in a society where there's so much emphasis on critical thinking and all of that, when they come year after year listening to speeches and majalis and then sometimes different presentations on the same subject and different descriptions and narratives, obviously that raises questions in the mind that people start thinking, what? And I'm not very much in favor of critical thinking, don't think I'm promoting it, because it just goes over the limit sometimes. Yeah, but critical thinking overall is a good idea, because you should not just accept something because you are told. Yeah, but so this encourages even one person amongst you to take up this as your own personal, project. I will call it that, because it's growing up in this faith. It becomes our identity. The Muharram and all of that becomes a part of our identity. So obviously we should be able to verbalize it, articulate it nicely and logically, explain it. If anyone asks, for example, we should explain it in a way that people don't say, okay, good for you. No, we want more response than just hear us say something and say, yeah, good for you. No, our bayan should be such that people say, oh, makes sense. That would be the reason. Not say, okay, good for you. So I'm saying, okay, you know what? You have thousands of people coming out, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. Well, good for you. Keep doing it. But that's not good enough for us.
Yeah.
What we expect people to say is, I'm impressed. It makes sense. It's good thought, Let me think about it. Let me go back, Or what's the reference, for example? That would be nice. So, the questions, the one or two questions, especially Brother Dr. Riyaz Jafri mentioned that people often stay on their beliefs. We keep saying what we want to say and others keep doing what they want to do. We are born in this and people are born in their own. So obviously it is a fact. It is a fact. People generally, the faith they are born in, they follow that. If you grow up listening and saying that Amir Muawiyah, Raziullah, and all that, for example, obviously the chances are 90% of the time you will continue to stay on that. And we are convinced by the facts that we hear, because we obviously are more exposed to the facts of history than others are. Others listen at the most to that one khutbah on Friday, that's about it. Mullah, Mufti Sahib, whatever he says, that's it. But here we encourage people to read not just our books. We are unique in that fashion, in that way. We encourage people to read everything. Check the facts. People come to us asking questions about something and we don't say, okay, just say kalima. No, we don't do that. We say, okay, are you sure? Are you convinced? Here's another 20 books. Go read them. Check other books from other people and make up your mind. But I'm saying the fact is that people generally stay on their ways. So what do you do then? What do we do to convince others that, for example, our point of view makes sense? How do we make a difference? The difference is by our conduct. Our conduct, especially social and political. See currently this strife between haq and batil, and you will see the world is watching. The world is watching, for example, consistently the stand the Shia Muslims are taking, right, all over the world. And the stand, for example, their leaders, Saudi Arabia, and those people are making. So they are constantly talking about Muawiyah and Yazid and all of that. And here we are talking about Hussain ibn Ali and Ali ibn Abi Talib and all of that. The difference is in the behaviors. They are beheading us, they are doing all of this stuff. Our people are doing what? Fighting those terrorists, staying against them. Talking about Muslim. So yes, conduct will make our stand persistence. That will make a difference. Because actions, they say, speak louder than words. You keep bringing arguments. They won't work that well. Show by a commitment to Imam Hussain AS, that what was it that Imam Hussain did. So talk about, as he said, for the Muslim, that Yazid of our time. So yeah, that's one point, and accurately narrate the event that he focused on. I think that really makes sense. Now, accurately narrating the Ashura incident, that is about this. I've mentioned this before a few times because I think it should be repeated. I'm quoting Shahid Bahunar, because Rajain Bahunar was like president and prime minister, I understand. They were killed in a bomb explosion. So he mentions three things about the incident, the story of the uprising of Ashura. Three things basically. One was the message. Another was the shuja'at and the courage of it. Right? And the third was the musibat, masa'ib. We call masa'ib in Arabic means balaya, afat, masa'ib, musibat, calamity. So we have the message of Imam Hussain AS, what he actually said, or people with him said. Or for example, Bibi Zainab after the event, she said. That's the message part. The shuja'at is the courage. Courage of Imam, his followers, his family members, and Sayyidah Zainab Sallallahu Alaiha. After the aftermath of Karbala, that's the shuja'at. And the third is the actual tragedy itself. The tragedy is in the story from beginning till end. Now the thing is, people who, when Muharram starts, people get energized. Right? We energized that, okay, you know what, we need to do something about it. Okay, it's up to the speaker. A lot of Zakireen, Muslims talking about Zakireen, they have misunderstood this problem. They think the most important thing is the grief. So they drain all the energies. People come charged into the majlis. When the majlis is finished, they think they have done their duty to Imam Hussain AS. They have exhausted all their emotional energies because they think this is what the object was. Wow. Imam Hussain said, you must cry for me so that you will, for example, be resurrected with me and all of that. So that means it's an action of basically coming and leaving all your energy there and thinking that I'm done. Thank you so much. That's the Zaban Hal, Nobody says that, but Zaban Hal. So सब तो यहाँ उर्दू समझते हैं बस
Yeah, mashallah, you can speak any language.
So that's what. Okay. Again among the ulama also some are misunderstood this. Those especially who are doing a lot of tabarra and but this lana, the bandar lana, though some of these Maulanas also have this problem. They usually are also ulama who have also misunderstood this idea of tabarra also. They think that, for example, they don't promote unity first of all. And there are people who want to inflict more harm on themselves than on the enemy of Shia right now. They're not concerned with the enemy of Shia, they're concerned with the Shias hurting themselves only. Obviously, grief and mourning has so many different ways. And it's just natural. So, but when you make it a goal, then you have nothing left after that to do, because that becomes the outcome. That means all you get out of it. But if you look at accurately at the event of Karbala, you see that the message is actually the major part of the content of Imam Hussein's words is not Masa'ib. He's not saying this happened to me, this happened to me. He's saying, why don't you wake up? Right? Anyone to support me, help. What? So he's bringing argument. He's saying, even Umar ibn Sa'd, again, some histories have this, not all. The Imam Hussain called Umar ibn Sa'd on the battlefield, and that he came with a number of men who were armed. Imam Hussain had some men with him. He asked them to stay behind. He came without any arms. Umar ibn Sa'd also asked his men to stay behind and came unarmed. And they had some sort of a tent over there in the middle of the battlefield where they had a short discussion. But Imam Hussain was trying to get him out of the battlefield. like Imam Ali al-Islam did to Zubair. Basically, Muawiyah and Yazid were using the name of Umar ibn Sa'd. Sa'd ibn Waqas was a famous name. Using his name to rally all these people against Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain tried to get him out of the battlefield. Basically, he said, no, you know what you are doing. I am Hussain ibn Ali. He had nothing to say. But he said, I need that Wilayat Ray, Dawlat Ray. I need that power. I've been promised to become the governor. So that was it. Now, how can you, a person who is just greedy after something, you cannot convince logic. So that's about it. He wants the money. He wants that money and power. There's nothing Imam Hussain, he said that you will not get to that. You will not. So Imam Hussain is talking from a position of power and authority. Not a person who's trying to make a deal. He's not trying to negotiate anything. He's just trying to get him to accept something, and firstly, this major element, if he's out of this equation, a lot of people who came because of him will be out too. Right? So accuracy of Karbala means that we emphasize on the message and the shuja'at of Imam Hussain ibn Ali, which was the overwhelming part of the event. Right? The major thing about Karbala is that against all those odds, how brave they were. And that is what Shias need to learn today. And practice on the message of Imam Hussain al-Islam, right? That, for example, it is haram, innal khilafata muharramatun ala ali Abi Sufyan. That is the message. Which means a person like me can never do a bay'at to a person like Yazid. This is for today. So this message, if people enact on this, you will see that you come to a majlis, you get energized, say, oh my God, there's so much left for me to do. So your energy, if it was at one minimum level, will go up. You see that you have a lot of homework to do then. And that is the reward. That will give you the love of Ahlul Bayt in a real sense. The love that you want to feel in yourself, that we feel like, it's like a surge of energy going down. Then it will never go down. Because it will be love that you have day and night.
So we are part-time Muslim.
Yes, I mean, it is our commitment to the values of Imam Hussain al-Islam. And they are so energizing. They are things that, take you on a march for people walking from Khuzestan all the way to Karbala.
Question making, I'm going to answer something.
How to penetrate Ruh of the Nabiya among people who are so far religious and traditional Azadari? Well, Sayyidah Zainab Salamun Alayha, basically she stood against the Yazid of her time. Yeah? She was basically challenging Yazid. She was not crying over her brother only. She mentioned that to condemn Yazid of her time. Right? So that is the thing. Today you condemn the Yazid of your time. I mean, answer these foolish arguments that they make. Basically, you call yourself a human being and allow yourself to hurt women and children. I mean, what kind of human being you are? Forget about Shia or Sunni. You are supporting a government, that is beheading 50 people every month. Out in the open. You are sentencing of political dissidents, 20 years in jail with torture and whatever, What kind of a government are you supporting? You see, show them the contradictions between what they say and what they do. That is something we need to do. Something should be relevant to today. Okay, so this, you said it was bid'ah to do khutbah before. That's
before Jummah prayer.
You said it was bid'ah to do khutbah before Eid namaz. Don't we do khutbah before Eid namaz? Well, actually, the khutbah of Eid namaz is after the salat. We do salat first. It is the Jummah prayer where we do the khutbah first, right? So Eid becomes reverse. Didn't you notice it? Okay. Do you plan or already have these type of presentations and MSAs in various schools and colleges in the US? How do we get into an interfaith dialogue? Intra-faith dialogue with Ahl Sunnah, like moderate ones. I think you should try that.
Shia Sunni is intra.
Yeah, interfaith. Shia Sunni, not Christian.
Yeah, Shia Sunni is intra, but
Do you plan or already have these type of presentations in MSAs? I've never had a presentation like this in.
But we would love to have, if we find anybody who can help us through their channels, we want to.
Yeah, she is, I think, Alibad Foundation.
Yeah.
You are leading in UFH, right?
Well, I was part of that, so, but, I mean, I graduated, but I still help out.
So if you want, let us know.
Okay,
You can put that on comments,
okay, sure.
and then we can contact you, and then maybe have one at the University of Houston. Right? Is
Okay,
that what
yeah.
it is, right?
Mhm.
That would be very, very good, I think this will.
Second part of the question is, how do we get into an interfaith dialogue with Ahl Sunnat, the moderate ones? Actually, the ones who are not moderate are a better target, I feel.
Well, we start with the moderate ones.
Yes.
So I hear, like in Woodlands, right, I used to go for prayer, and they have these interfaith, like they go to the church. But I felt sometimes maybe, they're talking to Christians and Jews and all, but internally we have so much strife.
Right.
We can't reach out to each other. I think that, that's what I was saying, maybe.
I think maybe if we
Intrafaith
use
is-
sources that are acceptable, we focus on the principle more than, we focus on the principles rather than anything else. That there are certain principles that have been defined when you want to understand religion. So let's not use emotions, let's not use culture, let's use principles.